everyone. My guest for this episode is Becky Rothmaler, New York City-based makeup artist and licensed esthetician. Becky's work has appeared in magazines such as Vulcan, Nylon Spain, Vogue Italy, and many more. She's worked with brands such as Revlon, the M Jewelers, Aparis, and Netflix. She was a key makeup artist for Mark Bauer's Spring-Summer 2020 at New York Fashion Week. You can view her work on her Instagram at Becky Rothmaler and view her portfolio on her website, beckyrothmaler.com. Please welcome Becky Rothmaler. Thank you for coming on.
Hi, thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you
Glad
for.
to be here.
I'm very happy. I feel like I've had. You're our third makeup artist, and I think you're our sixth episode. It's very cool to have a lot of makeup artists on. So it's you guys always have like really cool stories.
Oh, there's stories,
Yeah.
very many stories.
So I just wanted to ask you, like, how have you been dealing with like COVID-19? Because I know it affected like your line of work quite a bit. So I just wanted to see how you've been dealing with that.
Yeah, it's definitely been a challenge. Especially on the new year, everybody wants to have big dreams, big goals for the new year, 2020, going hard. And I felt like I had a good momentum going in the beginning of the year, January, February, March, and then it hit. So for those, about 6 months, 5 months, that we, couldn't work, it was definitely a challenge. But I'm glad to be back working again.
Have you noticed like any changes in the way that things work now since like in these 6 months, or is everything sort of just, back to normal?
Um, I would say back to normal, but with new changes for, of course, sanitation and protocols with PPE.
Right.
Everyone on set has to be wearing a mask, which is obviously very different, especially just when speaking to other people. And so much of our expression and the way that we talk is through our mouth expressions and reading lips. So it's challenging sometimes to hear and to communicate in that way, but so that's definitely different. And also, of course, with brushes, using more disposables, trying to lessen the contact of your products actually coming into contact with the skin. So disposable lip wands, disposable mascara wands, those were always something I was using anyway. But just trying to use as much disposables as possible in the kit. As well as hospital grade disinfectants for sterilizing the surfaces that you're working on before you begin.
Right. Did you work on any personal projects like during quarantine?
Yeah, I mean, personal projects, just trying out some different techniques, different tutorials, makeup artists that I like, that I admire, checking out some of their work, experimenting on myself a little bit. Face painting is always something that I enjoy doing. So I, use that time to do something, different that you wouldn't ordinarily do. Maybe doing a butterfly face mask or something like that. It gives you the opportunity to get creative, and just, yeah, try out different techniques, follow different tutorials, things like that.
So like I know you became an esthetician in 2008, I believe, right? Is that correct?
Yes, 2008. Yes, that's correct.
2015, you decided to pursue your dream of becoming a makeup artist. Like, why did you decide to make that switch from esthetician to makeup artist?
I had always wanted to do makeup. Actually, that was my original goal. That was initially what I wanted to do, was become a makeup artist. I had no idea what an esthetician was. But at the time, there still isn't, there is no license, New York State license for certified makeup artist. But under cosmetology and under aesthetics, you're state certified to provide facials, skincare treatments, and it includes makeup. So I thought that that would be a good idea to um, just be learned in bacteriology, sanitation. That's really the biggest thing for esthetician. Most of the state board was actually sanitation. There was, of course, a written, but most of the practical is all sanitation. So I thought it would be a good idea to get licensed and also just to learn about skin. And then from there, I was just um, it's kind of something I fell into, after graduating school. Um, I just immediately started working in the skincare industry, and it was something that I enjoyed doing. But after, 8 years or 9 years in the spa industry, you get a little burnt out. And I decided, and yeah, I wasn't 100% happy doing it anymore. Um, and I wanted to use my creativity more because I've always had that in me. And I decided to pull out all the stops, leave my job, use my entire savings, that I had to go back to school to pursue makeup, since that was always what I wanted to do.
Right. Yeah, I see that you went to the Makeup Forever Academy in Soho. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like a lot of people don't like, they don't follow the path of going to makeup school first? Do you feel like it was worth it?
100%. Yeah, I would have to say 100%. I learned so much at that school, and especially the fact that, like I said, it was something that I wanted to do out of passion, that spent my entire savings on, to be there. And so I ate up every little last ounce of information and practical skill, and all the education that they provided. And I really, really wanted to be there. So I was really serious about it. And if it hadn't been for going to school, I really don't think I would know what I was doing at all. I don't know how I would have gotten started. Um, and the teachers that I had were so great.
Yeah, because I know like they give you also guys like business management classes on how to like get started and like networking at those schools. Do you feel like a lot of networking came out of that school?
I yes, definitely, because there's some of my peers that I still am in contact with, that I met at the school. Also, those teachers now are currently working on Pat McGrath's team, um, for Fashion Week. One of my teachers there, her name is Jen. I know she also works for Kevin Aquan. She works for Pat McGrath. So they're very established industry artists, that I was fortunately able to learn under. Um, and that, I mean, that kind of experience is invaluable to me. So
It's very expensive. So like as you said, you spent all of your savings there. So I'm like, oh,
I did. Yeah, it was very expensive, and it's hard to kind of make that decision. Um, but yeah, I think for me it was totally worth it, because something else that was um a huge advantage for me was the professional portfolio that we got out of it. There was a really good beauty photographer that they hired, and so we were able to graduate with a strong portfolio, and that enabled me to get shoots after, to continue getting shoots, because of course, when you start test shooting, people want to see your book, and they want to see if you're worth their time to um, invest in terms of setting up a shoot, booking a model, or booking a studio and things like that. So you do have that advantage of having a strong beauty portfolio when you graduate.
right.
Yeah.
You have a degree in fine art from FIT, right? So how has this affected your background, like as a career? Like as how has this affected your career as a makeup artist?
Yeah, I mean, in every way, I think, because I mean, so much of what we do is creativity and color, and we're forever talking about the color wheel as makeup artists, in terms of color correction, in terms of like complementary colors, skin tones, matching undertones. And I think having a background in painting 100% um is going to help you as an artist. And yeah, and just in terms of like exploring creativity, being in the fashion being at the Fashion Institute, and being surrounded by that, being surrounded by artists, being surrounded by designers. I had a roommate in at FIT who was a photographer, and she was actually kind of the one who introduced me to beginning to do test shoots because she worked on this website called Model Mayhem. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but back in, at that time, that was kind of the big site to start doing test shoots and meeting photographers and collaborating. And she was on there, and I actually did a couple shoots with her doing the makeup, and she did the photography, and we collaborated on that. And so that was my first introduction really to test shooting.
Right. So I also see that you assisted various artists. Like, how did you get these opportunities?
I actually just reached out via email. The assisting that I did for Fashion Week was through an agency called the Wall Group. And I emailed them, and I was able to come in for a um, kind of just a meet and greet interview, portfolio review. And they looked at my work, and we had a chat. And yeah, I mean, I was able to thankfully um, get some opportunities through them for assisting. So that was great. And then also another artist that I assisted, her name was Elijah, and I just emailed her. And yeah, thankfully she wanted to have me on set, and it worked out.
Yeah, you're the second person to tell us that like emailing is key. That's how you get things. You have to like send out and like, just take that risk of like
Putting yourself out there.
people putting yourself out there. So yeah.
Yeah, it can be really scary, but it's definitely worth it when it pays off.
Yeah, I feel like maybe that fear of rejection or like fear of like, oh, they're not gonna want me. Maybe they think that like I'm not good enough. But it's like not everyone's gonna think, not everyone's gonna like what you do, but there is gonna be someone that likes what you do. And I feel like that's something a lot of people will learn as they work through things, and that, you will get an answer back from someone.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a matter of persistence and continuing to message people you either want to assist, photographers you want to work with. Sometimes you'll get a response, sometimes you won't. But persistence is key. I mean, there's some saying that says if you get the answer no, you're asking the wrong person.
Yeah, I think
So just keep trying, keep emailing. Um, and people are always looking for assistance, especially if you have a strong portfolio. If your point of view matches with their point of view, they'll want to work with you. Um, and yeah, that's key in the industry, is just to keep trying and be persistent.
right. This is like a conversation that a lot of people like in the freelance world have, but like how did you feel? Did you have to, and how do you feel about like non-paid gigs?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, you have to. It's a part of the industry. Is test shooting. I mean, that's how I started. That's how I got any paid gigs at all. When I first graduated, I got a couple, paid gigs, low pay, no pay. Um, but you have to do that for a while to build your book, and start. Also, networking is a huge part of the test shoots, because the people that you test with eventually become people that you work with.
Right.
So I would say that's key. Yeah.
So like I know when you're assisting someone, you're sort of that person's responsibility, and you have to show face for them and stuff like that. So what are some do's and don'ts of assisting artists and working on sets?
Do's and don'ts. I would say do be as hardworking as you can. Always try to anticipate their needs as best you can. It's definitely awkward. And I've had people assist me, and I've assisted others. It can be awkward delegating tasks to people and telling them I need this or I need that. So I'm definitely not comfortable doing that. And you have to expect that the other way, that they might not be comfortable telling someone what to do constantly. So you have to try to anticipate what they need. Um, so I would say, yeah, try to do that as much as possible, and just be yourself, try to be kind to everybody and helpful to everybody, and just do the best you can. And hopefully if they like your personality, you'll continue assisting with them. I would say things you shouldn't do are ever trying to take credit for their work. If they want to tag you on social media as an assistant, they can, but that's definitely up to their discretion. You should never, post pictures of a shoot that's their work and, make it out to be yours. If you are to post, you should always ask them first if that's okay. Um, and I would say try not to ever overstep your position in a way. Because again, you're there for them, you're there to assist them. You're not there to, become buddy buddy with the photographer that they're working with or the hairstylist that they're working with. Um, if eventually they want to share their contacts with you, that's great. But I would say kind of be as low key as you can, but continue to work hard and show them that you want to be there.
Right. So I know you've done work for films, editorials, and private clients. Like, what makes each experience different?
Oh yeah, they're very different. I would say, um, editorials, you definitely get to be creative, which is fun. You get to do kind of what you want, what your vision is. Maybe something that's more experimental or more colorful or more avant-garde. But when it's and a model is usually going to expect that it's kind of um predetermined what the look is going to be, whatever the makeup artist and the photographer and the stylist put together on the mood board. So it's not necessarily up to the model what the look is going to be, but when you're working on a client, it's what they want. So it's completely different. In both, you definitely want to show your point of view as an artist, no matter what, no matter if it's what the client wants or what you want to do. You should always try to have
Like your
your point of view, your aesthetic, your signature look kind of come through in anything that you do. But they definitely vary in that way. And with actors, it's just a completely different day because actors are so high energy and they're so they're just they're always on. So it's a very like fast paced kind of job in that way, and you're usually doing many faces when it's for like sketch comedy or like a short film or maybe like a YouTube series or something, whatever you're working on, you're doing many faces. So it's typically just grooming, camera ready, making sure their skin is shine free and stuff like that. So
which
yeah.
do you like doing the most? Like, which one do you wish you got more of?
I definitely like doing fashion and editorial, and beauty. Those are my favorite um, shoots to do. Yeah.
I feel like it's like I feel like it might be the most glamorous part of it. Like I like as an intern, I go to these shows and I'm always like, oh my god, this is it. Just there's something like glamorous about working on those sets. Yeah.
Yes, it's so glamorous. It's so inspiring to me. I mean, when I got that opportunity to work for Romy Solomani for Kate Spade and working backstage and that huge production, there was just so much going on. There were stylists, a whole, all the models and the catering and the runway, and it was so glamorous and so exciting and so exhilarating, and I just knew that like this is what I want to do. I want to be a part of this.
Even like when the model coordinator is like screaming, like you guys have like they're like screaming, like you guys have 3 minutes, but it's still like it's super exciting. It's like, oh my god,
Yeah.
what the-
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. You're literally, I mean, because you're working on the model and the model's getting her nails done. There's all the hair people right behind you. You have to kind of just you have a little space. You have a little kind of like corner and space to work in, and you just gotta make it happen.
yeah, it's like just figure it out. You have to finish, but you have to finish in time. Like it's like
Yeah, that's the other thing is like it's so quick. And then once the models need to go, that's it, they're done. And then the lead makeup artist is touching them up and making sure everything is consistent, making sure she likes everything. So just I kind of being out of the way at that point, but also being on standby to touch up.
yeah.
Yeah.
always funny because I've been dresser like at a couple of shows, and it's like all we have to do is like put the clothes on them. But you guys like it's like up until like the last moment until she walks out, you guys are still working. You guys are still
Yes.
like figure it out. So it's like, oh my God, that's so like so I feel like it's so nerve-wracking to be in that position, but it seems exciting at the same time.
Yeah, it's definitely both. It's definitely both, especially if you've never done it before, which I hadn't. Um, so it can be a little nerve-wracking, like, okay, what do I bring? What do I need to, what do I need to have with me? Because they do provide all the makeup. Um, if it's, sponsored by a beauty brand or something like that, they do provide most of the makeup, but you still have to have some of your own pieces in your kit. And so you're just kind of unsure of like what you're supposed to do and where you're supposed to be. But I think all those nerves kind of get cast aside as soon as I start working, because that's where I'm comfortable. And I'm just like, okay, I got this.
Yeah, exactly. You just go into the zone and you're like, I'm prepared to do this. I know how.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you said that you started working on your portfolio where you were still like in school. And how does someone get like as an extensive portfolio like yourself?
I would say just keep test shooting. That for me, that's what I've been doing, and that's what I continue to do. Still is just working on your book, trying to develop your signature style, and perfecting things. Because especially with beauty, it's so close up, and it's such a big challenge. Especially going from fashion into a beauty shoot, you're used to something being shot from a big distance where it's a full body and you're not maybe seeing so much of the face, or you're just seeing a little bit, you're not seeing everything so close up. So no matter what, there's always going to be challenges, and you're always going to learn something from every single shoot. um and I'm always learning, and I'm always trying to improve, kind of look at things critically and be like, okay, well, the eyebrow wasn't brushed that much, or, oh, the lashes could have been curled better and they could have been separated more. So you're always learning with every single test shoot that you do. So I would say, my advice is to start shooting if that's what you want to do. If you want to work in fashion or you want to work in beauty, find photographers that do that and continue to shoot, and always critique your own work and see what you can improve on, and just go from there.
What is something you wished you knew before you became a makeup artist?
How tough skinned you really need to be. Everybody says that, like, oh, you need to have a tough skin, you need to be able to deal with rejection well. But it's hard to really know what that means until you experience it. um so I wish I had been more prepared to realize that, and also to realize that you have to stick to your gut. If you have a good head on your shoulders, and right from wrong, and how to talk to people and deal with people and navigate tricky situations, just trust yourself more. I would say I wish I had known just how difficult the industry was before I went into it.
Yeah, it's like well, I haven't worked in makeup, but the rumors about the industry are true. People are a little mean, people are a little nasty, but you can find really nice people, really wonderful people who, they're gonna actually help you instead of just criticizing you. They're gonna actually give you like good advice, and like they mean well when sometimes they can come off a little rough on the edges, but they mean well when they say certain things. Obviously there's some people who are just, a little, but a lot of people
Yeah.
do, and that's just the nature of the industry, and you shouldn't take it so personally, and you should learn
Right.
that's
I
just
wish I had known that, just to have a little bit of a thicker skin. Maybe don't be so sensitive about things. And realize there's gonna always be people who don't like something, or you know want something changed, and that's okay. Or maybe your rate isn't what they were expecting, or things like that. Just try not to take things personally, and just continue doing what you love, and you'll be successful.
yeah. What are 5 tips for people who want to begin their careers as makeup artists? You can take your time to think about these.
5 tips. I would definitely say the test shooting. That's so important to get a portfolio, because eventually you're going to get booked off of that portfolio. So you want to make sure it's your baby, it's your art. So you want to make sure it's good. You want to make sure it represents your best work. So that's so important. Just try to be humble, just try to be personable, just try to, talk to everybody's equal on set. Don't try to ever act like you're above someone or that you're better than other people, because there's definitely a lot of ego, like we were talking about before, there's definitely a lot of ego on set. But yeah, just try your best to to get along with everyone, and recognize the fact that you're a part of a team, and the result is going to be only as good as everyone is able to come together and create something as a team.
Right.
So keep that in mind. I would say be persistent, definitely be persistent, always try to reach out to photographers, stylists that you want to work with, models. Like I said, even if people don't answer, there's always going to be someone that will. And the same thing for, jobs too, is like it's definitely important to categorize your work into different sections, whether it's fashion or beauty, and you can send out your portfolios to different companies that you want to work with, maybe agencies, production companies, things like that. So try to just do some research as well. Try to do some market research, like what are some production companies in your area? What are some fashion agencies in your area? Are there any local talent? Are there any local talent that you can collaborate with? So just try to, you know, um, put your business hat on and be productive in that way. And I would say find out your why. Why is this what you want to do? Because I think a lot of people have a completely different idea of what being a makeup artist is. They think oh, it's so glamorous. You work with all these models, you work on these sets. But it's literally blood, sweat, and tears if this is what you want to do. And there's definitely going to be days where you're like, I don't know if this is the right decision. I don't know if I can do this. So you have to really figure out your why do you want to do this? How important is this to you? Because there's going to be so much sacrifice as well. That's something that I think that people don't realize. Is there's going to be a lot of sacrifice in terms of just availability. You have to have a lot of availability to be a makeup artist. Things come in last second, things happen on weekends. You might not be able to go out to dinners or friends parties, and I definitely had a lot of that in working in the spa industry and also in the makeup artist industry. You definitely lose a lot of personal time. So I would say, yeah, that's important to know. If this is something you're really truly passionate about, and you make a lot of sacrifices to be there.
Wait, is there anything that you want to plug in that you have coming up or that you want people to look out for?
Definitely this interview. Definitely this interview. And I'm definitely going to be doing some fun projects. We'll have some projects coming out with a photographer that I work with named Emily Teague. I'm really excited. It's an editorial, and it's going to be used for Ellen Crom, a photography company. So that's a really exciting project that I was a part of. And another thing that I'm doing is um, a bridal job with a model that I met. She's getting married, and Mark Bauer is actually designing the dress.
Oh, wow.
And so Shannon and Mark and I will be down at her wedding in December and getting her ready for her wedding day. So that's really exciting.
So thank you so much for coming on. It was actually really nice having you and like hearing your experience and like all like your perspective on the career and your career choice. So thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Yes, thank you for having me. It was awesome talking to you and being a part of it.